America has tried to avoid world wars, both times at that. However, we've discovered that we've actually served a vital position to these global wars and has affected many, including ourselves, by our decision. After World War I, for the most part, America was the only one besides Japan who was truly economically stable. Huge loans were given to multiple countries, and a new fad had came about called buying on the margin or on credit, basically spending money that didn't quite exist. Eventually, people began freaking out, doubting the stocks and pulling their monies out of the banks. This resulted in the stock market crash. Along with the stock market crash came uneven distribution of wealth, a standstill towards spending money, and overproduction. These actions brought forth a trickling down effect with the economy. America had to take back all their previous loans and even start an import tax. Countries were very reliant on the U.S., so America's economy being down put everyone else's down drastically. Wow, talk about an influence on something. This depression led governments, especially new democracies, to become weak. It had numerous effects on people. Some social effects were suicide rates increased, people stopped visiting hospitals, women avoided having families, independency was key. Some physiological effects were that people felt as if they had become failures and were changing their mindsets as far as how to spend their money. The depression was made even worse by the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl is a drought that happened and was a huge crisis to Americans everywhere. However, the depression was made better by the New Deal. 1932 was the first presidential election after the Depression, and Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected. He actually understood and could relate to the people. 1933 marked the point where he started to slowly pull America out of depression. He created a plan that brought forth recovery, relief, and reform to the people. His plans gave his people hope and slightly boosted our economy. Problems deriving all the way back from the very first war triggered the Second World War. Germany was still upset about the outcome of the Treaty of Versailles. It extremely added to their destroyed economy and weak government. Other countries were also upset about the results of the war. Many countries were trying to recover and were extremely dissatisfied with their governments. They wanted desperately for someone to come in and rescue them from these extreme financial problems they were suffering from. Countries chose fascism, willing to be stripped of freedoms and rights in exchange for welcoming a new leader who seemed to be promising of change and a hero to their problems. The uprise of these dictators definitely led to World War II. The free world, such as America, Britain, and France, decided on practice in isolation, choosing not to interfere. However, they definitely played a role in the war. Britain and France giving in to try to avoid participating in the war, used appeasement. America also gave in, though not really being pressured, such as Britain and France. They instead signed a lending lease, an agreement with other countries besides the Axis powers, to supply them with materials for the war. Germany was ready to attain a new image for themselves. They allied with Italy and Japan and became the great Axis powers, and also agreed not to fight with the Soviet Union and partnered with them temporarily. So it was back on again. The Allies versus the great Axis powers. World War Part II. So, how did the Americans get involved anyway? America stood in the way of Japan's vision of the Greater East Asia. Therefore, they plotted and pulled off a huge surprise attack called the Attack of Pearl Harbor, the goal being to destroy and cause destruction on the Americans, great enough so that we would have to surrender. Though the Japanese did do a great job at making America suffer and brought lots of damage, they didn't succeed. America was able to regain their strength and hold on. We were officially joining the war. After 3 long years of fighting and the dropping of 2 atomic bombs, the Japanese finally surrendered. America also participated by their affiliation with the Allies. Though America tried avoiding getting into a war, once we did enter, everybody played a role. The soldiers definitely weren't the only ones contributing. Lots of people had started working in the factories and other jobs that didn't deal directly with the war, but that was truly essential to war. Since the war had started, our production took a quick boost, completely eliminating unemployment. For once, we were even slightly becoming more diverse and unifying, inviting races of all sorts to fight with us. Though the war brought forth plenty of positivity to the U.S., it certainly had its drawbacks. African American, Mexican Americans, and Japanese were being attacked. There was major unfairness and mistreatment. Wow, we have definitely played an enormous role in this world.